Hello everybody, myself Seema Gandharkar. I am giving information about distributed databases. Outcomes of this lecture are students will be able to understand concept of distributed databases and know types of and use of distributed databases. I have referred quote Sudarshan book of database system concept by McGraw-Hill, 6th edition. Contents of my lecture are centralized and distributed database concepts, types of uh, distributed database, that is heterogeneous and homogeneous databases, and distributed data storage. Firstly, we'll see centralized database architecture. Now here, on one side, centralized database is stored, and other sites are using this centralized database through communication network. So all these are connected through internet or network. So this is the architecture of centralized database, and this is the architecture of distributed database. Now over here, the databases are distributed over different sites and which are connected to each site, and which are connected, all sites are connected through communication network. So each and every site is can access a database which is available with each site. I will say first what are the problems or issues of centralized database. Now over here, centralized database is stored on one site, and each and every site is accessing data which is available on this site. So suppose site 1 is accessing the centralized database. Again, site 4 is also accessing database and sending some queries, writing on into that or accessing database. Then there is a problem of bottleneck. Means everybody is accessing a data which is available on the site. Means suppose it is a university database and there are different campus over here. Now each campus is accessing a database which is available centrally. Okay, but when each and everyone is accessing this data, there is a bottleneck over here in this path, and uh, we'll get that database queries or retrieval of data will be very slow. So there is a bottleneck to access the data is a problem. Now suppose the centralized database is crashed or some problem is there, then there is a problem of reliability, means whether we are getting a correct answer of that or correct data or not. So it is a problem of reliability over here. Now over here, suppose I want to add more data over here. Means suppose this is a bank database, and suppose I want to introduce new branch over here. Then there is a problem. Suppose I want to add some data over here. I have to increase the hardware and software capacity for this. So to increase or expansion of data is a problem in centralized database because it is having some capacity, so I have to increase that capacity of the central database. Now here it is a distributed database. Now these are all different sites are having different database. Now I can have this can be a university, each campus over here. Each campus is having different database which is local over here, or it may be a bank database. Now this is site 1. Each branch is having different database with each other, and another one is over here. So here we can have some advantages over here where the issues of a centralized database. And first we'll see advantages, that is more reliable. Now, just we have seen, suppose the central database is crashed or some problem with central database, then it is very difficult to get reliable data. Now over here we are getting local data, or we are having accessing data with different sites, and there are replication of data. We'll see afterwards what is replication. Then we are getting the data reliable. Another one is no bottleneck. Again, same thing. We are accessing local data as well as global data over here by using communication network. So there is no bottleneck, means everybody can access other database which is not located at the one location. So there is no bottleneck over here. The expansion we can see. Now suppose I want to do expansion here, I can add, suppose I want to add one more branch, I can use add that site, I can have one more database with that site. So different sites can be added and expansion is very easy. Again, fast communication because of there is no bottleneck, and suppose I want to access local database, that database is accessed locally. Means suppose site 2 is accessing the database 2, which is connected to it. It can access very fast, and nearby sites also. Suppose this site is nearby, I can access it, and there is no bottleneck problem. So fast communication is also there. I'll say first definition of distributed databases. It is a collection of multiple logically related database distributed over network. So multiple means there are multiple databases, and logically related is the main term over here. So it is related, means suppose it is a bank database, so each and every is having banking related database. So that database is connected, distributed over a network. So different branches can have database of each branch, and that total is called as bank database, or maybe a university database is distributed over the different campus. So that is logically related, but it is distributed over network. In distributed database system, the database is stored on several computers. The computers in distributed system communicate with one another through various communication media such as high-speed private network or internet. Example of it is banking system consists of 4 branches or 4 different cities. Each branch has its own computer with a database of all accounts maintained at the branch. Each such installation is thus a site. So each branch we may call as a site. There also exists one single site that maintains information about all branches of a bank. There are sites or nodes. A distributed database system consists loosely coupled sites that share no physical components. Database system then run on each site are independent of each other. Transaction may access the data at one or more sites. There are local transactions and global transactions. The sites which are having database which is stored at that site, those transactions is called as local transactions. And global transaction on the other hand, that is either access data on different sites, which transaction is initiated or access data and several different sites. Distributed database system as it is built because of several reasons, that is sharing the data. Distributed university system, each campus store data related to campus, and that can be shared with different sites, means one site can share another one. So that is the main reason why we are using distributed data. Autonomy, that is control over data that are stored locally, and global and local database administrators are there. The local administrator admin the local data, and the global which is responsible for all the sites. And local autonomy means that particular site is having all the rights about that particular database. Availability, if one site fails in distributed system, the remaining site may be able to continue operating. Means in centralized database, suppose central database system is having a problem or crashed, we will not able to access it. So that is a problem. So sharing the data, autonomy and availability are the concepts over here. There are classification of distributed databases in 2 ways, that is homogeneous and heterogeneous. We'll see further. What is homogeneous database system? Distributed database, that all sites have identical database management. In homogeneous distributed database, system software are aware of one another and agree to cooperate in processing users' requests. So all the sites are having same identical database, and each and everyone knows what are the database schema or other agrees on cooperating that on that database. So it is appeared as a single system. For example, suppose branch is having branch name, branch city, assets, accounts is a account number, branch name, balance. Depositor is having customer name, account number. So these are the schema for different relations over here or tables. The same relation is carried out on the different sites. What is heterogeneous? That is, different sites may use different schema and different database management system software. So each and every one site is having different database management software and different schemas also. So different in schema is a major problem of query processing, because schema is different, so query processing is a problem, and different software is a major problem for transaction processing. The sites may not be aware of one another, and they may provide only limited facilities for cooperation in transaction processing. So heterogeneous is having many problems in query processing as well as transaction processing because of different softwares. Now here we'll see advantages and disadvantages of um, um, database storage. We'll see. There are two approaches for storing the relations in distributed databases. That is, first is replication. The system maintains several identical replicas of a relation and store each replica at a different site for faster retrieval or fault tolerance. Now, here firstly we have seen that in centralized database there is a database which is stored at one place. Now here the databases are distributed on different sites, but suppose one site is crashed and that database cannot be accessed. Such type of situation, what we should do? So for that, each and every database is having is replicated on different sites. Suppose database one or site one is having DB1, that is replicated on another site also. So this is called as replication. So there are copies over there. Similarly, another database storage is fragmentation. The system partition the relation into several fragments and store each fragment at a different site. So that fragments can be stored on different sites. So fragmentation and replication can be combined. Means it may be replicated, but some fragments are replicated on different sites. So like this, distributed database storage is done. If relation R is replicated, a copy of relation R is stored in two or more sites. In most extreme cases, we have full replication. Means what is replication actually? It is a relation is replicated, means copy of that relation or table is stored on two or more sites. So there may be 3 copies, there may be 4 copies like this. Or full replication means all the sites are having the same database over there. Now advantages or disadvantages of replication is availability. When suppose one site is crashed over there, then we can get that database from different sites. Increase parallelism. Now several sites can process queries involving in parallel, means everybody is having a database, so parallel processing can be done on different sites. So parallelism can be increased over here. So we'll get a fast result if the database large. Increase overhead of update. Now suppose I have updated one record on one database, I have to update that record on all the sites where it is replicated. So that is the overhead, that is disadvantage of replication. What is replication over here? We'll see in general. That is, replication enhance the performance of read operation and increase the availability of a data to read only transactions. Update the transaction requires greater overhead. Updation is required because we have seen that suppose I have updated one record, I have to update that record on different sites. Controlling concurrent updates by several transactions to replicated data is more complex than the centralized system. We can simplify the management of replica of relation R by choosing one of them as primary copy. And for example, banking system, an account that can be associated with the site in which account has been opened. Similarly, an airline reservation system, a flight can be associated with the site at which flight originates. So when we are using distributed database, that concurrent updating is a problem. So we can keep a prime copy. Suppose we are having our bank account in nearby branch. Now this branch is called as a primary copy. We'll update over there, and that is copied to other one. So like this we can save a time for controlling and concurrent update. Now fragmentation, we'll see. In relation R is fragmented, R is divided into number of fragments, R1, R2, Rn. So that relation is divided into fragments. This fragment contains sufficient information to allow reconstruction of original relation R. Means that can be divided such a part that is row wise or column wise. That there are two types of schemas of fragmentation relation, that is horizontal fragmentation and vertical fragmentation. Horizontal fragmentation split the relation by assigning each tuple, that is row, on one or more fragments. Vertical fragmentation split the replication by decomposition the relation R, that is column wise. In horizontal fragmentation, a relation R is partitioned into number of subsets, that is R1, R2, Rn. Each tuple of relation R must belong to at least one of the fragments, so that the original relation can be reconstructed if needed. Now here is an example of bank system where it is fragmented horizontally. Now this is the branch name, the hillside branch. There is a database which is having total branches, total records over here. Now here we have divided, that is selection. We have used, that is branch name, that is hillside. Of that account we have selected, and that are stored and in one branch. Another branch, that is Valley View, which is stored on different side. So this is horizontal fragmentation over here. Vertical fragmentation, the schema of relation R is split into several smaller schemas. All schema must contain common candidate key or super key, ensure the lossless join property. So we should be able to combine these two databases or multiple databases together as one. That is the main facility we have to provide in fragmentation. A special attribute, tuple ID attribute, may be added to each schema to serve as a candidate key. Now we'll see for one example over here. Now here they are divided as product of branch name and customer name. We have selected. Means we can select some fields which we required daily. That is fragmented over here. And other fields we can separate it out, that is account number and balance are two different attributes that we have separated. So here we can have branch name, customer name, and tuple ID as a candidate key or primary key over here, and we can join these two databases or tuple ID. So we'll get a complete table over here. Now this is account number and balance is stored in different relation, that is, this is fragmentation. So this is vertical fragmentation here. Advantages of fragmentation, that is horizontal fragmentation allows parallel processing on fragments on a relation, allows a relation to split so that the tuples are located where they are most frequently accessed. So here again same thing, the branch wise, suppose we divide the tuples as horizontally, we can access those tuples over here, and there is a parallel processing can be done on different sites. Vertical allows tuples to be split so that each part of a tuple is stored where it is most frequently accessed. So those we can split those attributes which are mostly used on that particular site. So tuple ID attribute allows efficient joining of vertical fragments, allows parallel processing. Again, parallel processing can be done. Vertical and horizontal fragmentation can be mixed. Means firstly, it can be horizontal fragmentation on branch wise, and some particular fields or particular attributes can be again vertically fragmented and can be stored different systems or different sites. So there is a combination of these two. Now there is a transparency is maintained in distributed databases. That is, data transparency is the first one. The user of a distributed database system should not be required to know where the data is physically located, or how data is accessed at the specific local site. Actually, user is only knows that there is a data, I am accessing that data. User did not necessary to know where it is stored, how it is accessed. So that is the main transparency is maintained in distributed database. This characteristics is known as data transparency. Now there is fragmentation transparency is also there. User are not required to know how the relation has fragmented, whether it is vertical, whether it is horizontal. So it can be fragmented in any of the way, or there may be a combination. The user is not required to know how the private data. Only user is required data should be fetched to or given to user. Replication transparency, again same thing. User is not necessary to know how the replication is done, where the replication is done, how many times that data is replicated. The distributed system may replicate an object to increase either system performance or data availability. User do not have to be concerned with data object which are replicated. Then location transparency, again replication is done, but that replication may be stored on any of the sites. So it is not necessary to know user where that data is stored. Only user to get that data at the proper time. That is the main thing. The distributed database system should be able to find any data as long as the data identifier is supplied by the user transaction. Here there is a problem when we store a data on different sites. There is a replication. Now there is a problem that different sites may give same name to database or same data. So there is a naming convention over there. So for that, one name server may be uh, taken over there. So every data item must have system-wide unique name. So that name can be specific. So data items such as relation, fragments, and replicas must have unique names. It should be possible to find location of a data item efficiently. It should be possible to change the location of a data items transparently, and each site should be able to create a new data item autonomously. So that's the main problem of naming of data items. How it can be solved? There is a name server, we can get centralized scheme. The structure of a name server means name server assigns all names. All site maintain a record of local data items, and site asks the name server to locate non-local data items. Means suppose first we'll file the query to name server, and name server will give it to the user. But there are advantages that are satisfies naming criteria, means that name cannot be duplicated over here. But the disadvantages are name server is a potential performance bottleneck. Means again the same problem. Means suppose there is a central database, each and everyone is asking database for central database. Similarly, each and everyone may ask it to name server. So name server is a single point of failure. Suppose it failures, then there is again problem. And there is another strategy, that is aliasing. Alternative to centralized scheme, each site prefix its own site identifier to a name server. Means site 17 dot account. Means site 17 is added to as a prefix, so that each site is having as a previous one. So there is no duplication of a name. So fulfills having unique identifier using this, and however fails to achieve network transparency. So, but here we'll come to know that a site 17 is having that database. So network transparency or location transparency we cannot achieve over here. So create a set of alias to items. Store a mapping of alias to real names. So we are using alias, and that alias is we are using, and the main name is stored over there. So the user can unaware of physical location of data item because alias is there. We are not using site name and the database name over there. Now here we'll move to summary of distributed database introductory session. That is, a distributed database is a collection of multiple logically related database distributed over network, that is multiple sites, and it is more reliable, no bottleneck to access the data, easy to expand, and having fast communication. Distributed database classified as homogeneous and heterogeneous. In homogeneous, all the sites have identical database management. Heterogeneous, different sites may use different schemas and different database management system softwares. There are two approaches to store a relation in distributed database, that is replication. Here, the features of replication is availability, increase parallelism, increase overhead on update. Replication means we are storing same database or duplicating database on different sites. Fragmentation, two different schemas of fragmentation is horizontal fragmentation and vertical fragmentation. There is a transparency in distributed databases maintained, that is data transparency, fragmentation transparency, replication transparency, and location transparency. Data items such as relations, fragments, and replicas must have unique names so that we can access it properly. Otherwise, duplicate name will produce a problem. So here we'll stop and thank you.